My 36F husband, 39M, just said something I don't think I'll ever be able to unhear. I can't believe I'm doing this, but I feel like I'm losing my mind, and I guess more than anything I'm looking for a sanity check right now. I, 36F, using a throwaway, love my husband, 39M, dearly. We've been together for 7 years and married for 4. He is kind and non-judgmental of others and well liked by pretty much everyone who knows him. And that's part of why what is happening right now has me really doubting myself. Basically, in the past, my husband has complained to me about very few things, but some of them include the fact he is usually the one doing the dishes, picks up the dog poop, and deals with the garbage, recycling. He's not wrong, these are tasks I hate and rarely leap at the opportunity to do. I appreciate his contributions greatly and also have made a point of stepping up into doing them more when he complains. In addition to these things, he contributes around the house by washing our towels with his laundry. He also does the majority of the grocery shopping and he does our budgeting and finances. He's a CPA and money is not my strength at all. He tends to be the person who feeds the dogs probably 4 or 5 days out of the week. Please now make a list of all the other things that occur in a household: cleaning, organizing, home improvements, any regular maintenance or lower skill handy tasks, coordinating any services, appointments and making any phone calls, and assign all of that to me. I do not complain to him about this. I do not ask him to do it, and I am generally happy to take care of it. And, if I'm being honest, there's if you want it done correctly, do it yourself element at play, too. I knew this year would start on a rough note for him, so I made a point of trying to take a lot off his plate by staying on top of the things he usually complains about, like the dishes, trash and recycling, etc. He never acknowledged this, but I wasn't doing it to get credit for it. Meanwhile, my job has been subject to some major turbulence and insecurity following the inauguration, and it has been incredibly stressful and at times overwhelming. He has done nothing to ask me how I am doing or talk with me about it. But again, his year has been off to a rough start, and I found myself asking him if he's okay because he always worries about money and I've been afraid all of the uncertainty is weighing heavily on him. These things would probably be tolerable on their own, but now he has started also minimizing and dismissing the work I am doing around the house for us. I've been cleaning like crazy in anticipation of his friends coming over today for the Super Bowl, and one spent all of last Saturday steam cleaning our carpets. The entire day. At the end of it, he told me that actually he preferred the carpets dirty so he didn't have to worry about keeping them clean. After I did our sheets, he immediately put his clean pillow on the floor next to the dog bed. I asked him not to because I hate when dog hair sticks to my face when I'm trying to fall asleep, and he insisted it didn't matter and dismissed me with, "It's all the same to me." I went out of my way to get a copy of a photo I knew he would like of him reading bedtime stories to his godchildren, and his response when I told him and asked him if the frame location I was thinking of using was a good fit, and his response was, "I don't care." This morning, after I told him I had given one of the dogs a bath because her brother managed to pee on her, he told me it wasn't a big deal. I'd had enough and told him this was an example of a larger pattern that was emerging and that it sucks when he seemingly tries to tell me that the things I care about aren't important because they aren't important to him, and that he had been doing the same with my work around the house. And he just stonewalled me? Basically told me it's my fault that he's not more supportive of me because I apparently do not support him. Then he tried instead talking about things I do that he doesn't like, and focusing on my shortcomings, and when I called him on it, he just started standing there and saying, "Okay," and nothing else. The last thing he has said to me about all of this is that I need help for my mental health problems, and that he's sick of always being the bad guy. I don't know how to work towards a solution with someone who won't even acknowledge the legitimacy of the problem in the first place. And the comment about mental health problems is just so wrong and messed up and gross. I honestly cannot believe he said something like that. It crossed a line that has never been crossed before, and it feels like this is beginning to move towards gaslighting and like he would rather attack me than go anywhere near acknowledging or owning or apologizing for the way his behavior is impacting me. I'm trying to think of a single example of him owning a mistake in the past or apologizing for a wrongdoing, and I'm really starting to think he has never done that before. Whenever he complains about something to me, I don't challenge him on whether or not it's legitimate. I put work into changing the things that are bothering him. But I'm starting to think he doesn't know how to model the same behavior. Can someone please give me a reality check here? Part of me thinks I'm overreacting, part of me is worried I'm somehow totally off base and I don't even realize it, but that comment about mental health issues has completely derailed my ability to confidently discern up from down now. Too long did not read. I called my husband out about how he's been dismissing me lately and his response included telling me I had mental health issues. You do realize you start off saying this guy is kind and non-judgmental and then go on to describe someone who is neither of these things. No, it isn't your imagination. He is not fighting fair, at the very least, with the cruel crack about your mental health. I'm not sure what the answer is, but when I'm up against something like this, I break it into 3 parts. What are the facts? What is the story I'm telling myself about the facts, and what will it take for me to come to terms with it or fix it if I can? Sounds to me like he's checked out of the relationship and he's carefully trying to lay the foundation for you to be the one who ends the relationship so he doesn't come out the bad guy. Being well liked by other people doesn't mean he's a good husband. It's hugely concerning that he dismisses you so easily and frequently, and that you can't think of a single time he's ever taken accountability for his mistakes or wrongdoings. I wonder, have you ever told him that you don't care, or ever ignored, dismissed him when he's brought up something to you? I'm guessing you probably can't think of many times you've done that, if at all. That you're even writing this post shows that you think a lot about his feelings and care about him a lot, so dismissing him would be unimaginable to you. And yet he does it to you, maybe multiple times a week. Stress is no excuse. You're stressed too, and you're still able to be present and thoughtful and caring in your marriage. People who refuse to take accountability and responsibility for their own bad behavior always twist things around to place the blame on you. They deny, deflect, and then attack you. Then, they blame you for your reaction to their abuse and only want to talk about that, avoiding talking about their behavior that got you to react. Accusing you of having mental health problems is a classic narcissistic abuse tactic too. That accusation lets him off the hook for any mean or rude thing he's done or said to you. Nothing is his fault. It's all in your head. A good therapist, by yourself, could give you much better insight into his behavior and treatment of you, but there are many red flags of abuse waving around in your relationship. I'm sorry you're going through this. Read, Why Does He Do That? PDF free download by Lundy Bancroft. Free Books Mania. His nitpicking and complaining is a way to shut you down and take on more of his share of the work. Time to look into your finances. It's not hard to see where the money is going. I'm M37, lost. My wife, F37, is now a gay witch. I feel awful sharing, but I am running out of ideas. My wife and I have been married for almost 15 years and I feel like I'm in an impossible spot. We've changed so much. Pre-kids it is as you would imagine, just growing up together and figuring out life. Truly we were each other's person and best friend. We both came out of religiously traumatic experiences and vowed to keep growing and working through it. Growing as individuals has always been a common goal and we champion that for each other. However, I'm uncomfortable with where things are going. For context, she became very depressed after our second child was born, over 7 years ago. She didn't realize she didn't want to be a mom and got crippling depression. She was in bed for days and couldn't take care of our kids or work. I worked hard to get her the care she needed through therapy and psychiatrist as well as take on full parental responsibilities. And I was fine with that. I didn't resent her, I just wanted her to get better. After a few years she started to come back and participate in the family, and I was thrilled as I started to recognize the person I had married was back. A big part of the depression was also triggered by her religious trauma. She was a part of a cult-like upbringing where she didn't have autonomy of herself until we got married. I have always championed her in finding herself. So here is where it starts getting strange for me. She starts exploring more of herself and comes out to me as gay, but maybe bi because she is very into sex with me. Okay, I think to myself. I'm not sure what to do with that. Then she continues her journey of self-discovery a few months later and then tells me she is a witch and believes she has psychic abilities. Wait, what? I want to be supportive in her journey, but honestly I am just thrown way off. But the thing that really pissed me off was the next thing. She had a work conference she was going to attend and she was prepping to go and she suffered a minor stroke. It was terrifying. I thought I almost lost her. It was the worst experience I've ever had. Fortunately, she was okay and would make a full recovery. In discussing her situation with the neurologist, they asked if she was on any antidepressants, which she was. Or so I thought. I found out after that she had stopped taking them for a couple months. Why? I asked. She didn't want to tell me, but admitted the conference she was going to was actually not a work conference but a guided session with LSD for some healing ritual. Like, what the fuck? She wasn't going to tell me until after. Because she knew I wouldn't approve. I am just so lost. I don't know who this person is anymore. I know if you grow you will become different than you were before, but this just feels like too much. 1. You've admitted to yourself you're gay. Cool, no problem. We can figure out what to do. 2. You say you're a witch and have psychic abilities. Okay. I think that's silly and don't believe in that stuff, but let's see where it goes. 3. You were dishonest about going to do illegal drugs. I feel bad making a decision to leave now because she has had a stroke and she depends on me for all things financially. But what the hell? I don't know this person anymore. The claims of having psychic abilities and sudden switch up in personality sounds like she might be having a secondary mental health crisis, especially if she's stopped her medication. She needs to see her doctor. I think she needs to see a doctor. Not because of her possible new sexuality, but her belief in magic powers is not safe emo. Please speak to her medical team about these quite drastic changes. I don't want to pathologize people's spirituality, but also that could be indicative of a mental health problem or something more physical in nature. That coupled with the mini stroke is concerning. After you've investigated this, then you can see where the lay of the land is. Sadly, people can grow apart and become incompatible, and if she's hiding things from you too, that's a bad sign. Edit. A letter. This sounds like it could be psychosis. I'm in no way a psychiatrist, but I just read a lot about psychology. Sometimes when people quit taking antidepressants, it can cause psychosis. She definitely needs to see a doctor. It's really a shame she didn't or couldn't fully figure all this stuff out before kids. But I guess the second kid triggered. Sometimes having kids makes you feel like you're not in control of your own life, you're living for someone else. And ding ding ding, that's exactly the kind of feelings she had when she was in the cult. You're allowed to say enough is enough. I, 18F, cannot seem to get over what my 18M boyfriend did, but I know he's truly sorry. I, 18F, have been confused on what happened between boyfriend, 18M, and I since 4 days ago, and I honestly just need advice or insight. In summary, I saw my boyfriend at the park we usually hang out at 4 days ago. It's a small and quiet one. I know that this will seem TMI, but I believe it's relevant. We always talk and kiss when we walk around this park, and I usually let him feel me up. As we were walking, he asked if we could stand behind a bush to kiss, which we usually do to not kiss in front of others. I said, no, in a light tone and kept walking forward, but he grabbed my arm and started pulling me back. I resisted and said, no, again, but he didn't listen and was able to pull me close to him since he's naturally stronger than me, and grabbed my bottom. I said, no, again, and he only let me go after about 2-3 seconds of doing that. Once he let go, I continued to walk forward as if nothing happened, but once he caught up to my side, he kept placing, not grabbing this time, his hand on my bottom. I told him, no, once more, then playfully told him to behave yourself, to which he said, I'm not grabbing, just placing. Again, I said, no, and moved his hand away. He placed it there again, then I moved it away once more, then he finally stopped. After a couple seconds of silence and walking, he said, sorry for touching you. I know I should have been more stern, but I believe that with all of my persistent no's, he should have stopped in the first place. But at the same time, am I even right to think he should have stopped even with my light tone? We've been dating for 11 months and a half, and this is the first time he has ever done anything to make me feel uncomfortable. I told him how I felt about that during that night, and he said sorry without making any excuses for himself. I know he didn't mean to do that, but it still hurts. It makes me confused and sad, and it's not like he did something that crazy. So I'm also confused on how I should feel about it. I want to forgive him, but I just can't fully do so. Could anyone please tell me what I should do or give insight? No is a full sentence. If he did this with less a year of dating, who's to say this won't get even worse in the future? Oh sis, he knew you said no, but he didn't care. Now he can be sorry, because you are upset. You don't have to forgive anything just because someone says, I'm sorry, and you can also break up. These are not mutually exclusive. Hopefully it will reinforce that no really means no. 11 months is a perfect time to push boundaries and start showing his true colors. Listen to your gut. When they tell you who they are, listen. Maybe it is a misunderstanding, but I'm deeply concerned for you as this behavior will likely escalate. He is stronger than you. What happens later when you move in together or are alone at your place? Do you feel safe that he won't assault you or worse? One no is enough. You moved his hand away and he thought his desire to touch your body was more important than your desire for autonomy. He is young, so hopefully you telling him how messed up that is will be enough to teach him in the future, but that would be enough for me to leave. You are always allowed to have the ultimate say over your own person. He didn't mean to do that. But girl, he did, and didn't stop and was low-key, very low-key abusive cause he kept pulling URARM. Sorry for the previous mistake. No means no. I 38F am 7 months pregnant and 38M husband wants a divorce. Don't know where to start, so here it goes. Husband, 39, and I, 38F, have been married 5 years and together for 8 years. Our entire relationship was built on a lie, as he was dating someone else at the same time as me. I found out only after we were married. Turns out he has cheated on and off for most of the relationship, up until supposedly 2 years ago. He has a sex addiction, and if he's not getting sex from me, or someone else, he is masturbating 1-4 times a day. He sought out therapy for all of it and claims he would never cheat again, and I had been working on trusting again. I thought things were going well. He was excited when we were trying to get pregnant and happy when we found out we were having a baby boy, and up until about a month ago I thought we were good. All of a sudden he said he wanted a divorce and there was no talking. It was like his mind was made up. He told me he never wanted the child and wish I terminated it when I still could. Last time he threw around divorce was after he cheated 2 years ago and was so quick to do so then, but we worked through things. I do love him despite our past and just want this to work for the sake of us and this baby. What do you think if we stayed together? What would you do? TLDR, husband has been cheating for most of the marriage and now wants a divorce, and I'm 7 months pregnant. I still want to be with him. What do you think if we stayed together? Men who don't want their children usually make for bad fathers. Children should be wanted. Get used to the idea of being a single mother and make sure you get child support. Get a lawyer. Make sure you're not going to get taken for a ride. If he's saying things like he wishes you'd terminated when you're that far along, he may still decide that's an option. People can get crazy quick. Protect yourself and your child. That does not mean you need to take him for everything he has. It doesn't mean that it can't be an amicable parting. But you've an obligation to yourself and your child to ensure you both are safe and secure. He doesn't want to be with you, and you're setting your child up for a shitty situation if you try to stay. You're both going to be better off divorcing him and taking the child support. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Op. Husband is a sex addict who has lied and cheated on me rampantly, will continue to do so, and doesn't want our baby. Also op. How can I make this work? Get real, op. There is no world in which staying with this loser is a good thing for your child. When life gives you a gift, accept it. Best of luck to you and your son.